Now, I do apologize if this video does come off completely negative when it comes to Battlefield 2042. There is some really good aspects about this game, but in this video we're going to be going over the kind of main issues I have found with this game and some things you might want to know before you go ahead and purchase it. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and click that link in the description down below if you want to see more Battlefield 2042 content, or if you want to see us make videos on any other first-person shooter. Now, I do have early access to this game because I did purchase the gold edition, and for that reason I do feel like I need to let you know about this game before you go ahead and purchase it on its actual release date, and maybe if you should cancel your pre-order for that matter. Now, my first main issue, and it's probably the biggest one to be completely honest, is the lack of game modes. Now, we do have Conquest, which is obviously the main game mode for Battlefield and the one most people play. There's also Breakthrough, which is kind of almost like a replacement for the way Rush used to be played, but obviously Rush is no longer in the game, so that's one issue. But then they've taken away a lot of the smaller game modes like Team Deathmatch, Free-for-all, and any other small objective-based game modes, which used to be really fun inside games like Battlefield 4 and any other Battlefield game. Now, combining this with Hazard Zone as well, and I think Hazard Zone is a completely unfinished game mode. There's pretty much no real end game, or there's no real final part of the game that makes you feel like you've accomplished something. You basically collect all the intel, then you extract, and that's the game over. Then you're fighting AI bots throughout the entire game, which is pretty boring if you ask me. No one wants to fight bots. And it's not as if there's just not enough players to go around inside these game modes. It's the fact that they're purposely putting AI bots in some of these game modes in the first place. And like I said, I just don't feel like there's a need for that. And they also made the maps just extremely large for no reason whatsoever. You're barely in a gunfight most of the time. Now, some people do enjoy this and they do enjoy the vehicle combat, but like I said, for people like myself who do enjoy the smaller game modes, there feels like no sense of accomplishment by playing these super large game modes where your impact on the game is very small. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, why don't you just play Portal? You could play Free-for-all, Team Deathmatch, or whatever other game mode you want to play over there. And this brings me on into my issue with Portal first of all. Now, of course it is fun. I'm not going to take away from the fact that Portal is a very fun thing that they've added into Battlefield, and I do see why people enjoy Portal. But the main issue with this is that basically it's just a remaster of the old Battlefield game, so of course it's going to be fun. There's all the old weapons, all the old maps. And for people who have paid to play this game, whether it's $100, whether it's £70 or euros or whatever it is, people do not want to be playing a remastered game for any long length of time. We can go back and play games like Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company 2. When I want to play a team deathmatch game, I don't want to have to play with the old weapons from Battlefield 3 on the old maps from Bad Company 2 and then play the servers that are super laggy, by the way, in some instances, and playing in certain game mode restrictions that people have put in place. I just want to play standard team deathmatch with the new weapons, try and level them up as a standard core game mode. And another really big issue with the way that the Portal spawns work is that they're really bad. Now, if you do look at the spawns for this free-for-all game, there's pretty much players just spawning right behind each other. I mean, I'll spawn in, there'll be a player that spawns in behind me, and there'll be a player that spawns in behind that guy, and it's just like a vicious cycle of just really bad spawning. And that's not fun either, and that comes down to obviously game development. Now, if they made a free-for-all game mode, then the developers themselves have full control over what the spawns are like. Even if you get over the fact that you're playing on old maps with old weapons that you've used before, and you just want to play some Battlefield, you do have the issue of joining in games halfway through, so you're never likely to win. You're going to have laggy servers and really bad spawns. The next thing I want to touch on is the specialist system. Now, it's not terrible by any means, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as the Battlefield class system we had in previous games. The Battlefield class system was one of the best I've ever seen in any first-person shooter. But this specialist system, it felt like they've almost ran out of ideas when it comes to specialists that are in this game. And they're going to add a ton more in the future as well, which is the thing that freaks me out the most. The fact that they almost thought pretty much having wall hacks in the game was a good idea, and now at the time of recording this video, they've actually removed Dozer's ballistic shield, and that is because it reflects bullets, and they didn't know this was going to be broken or overpowered. It just leads me to think that they've ran out of ideas, or they're going to run out of ideas of what to add to these specialists in this game. And already now, after playing this game for 4 to 5 hours, I've already identified all the operators that are kind of useless in this game. For example, Sundance, the operator with the wingsuit. The wingsuit doesn't really get used all that often in this game. Now, it is a pretty cool feature, and it's cool to try out once, but after that, every other ability Sundance has is completely useless. Now, by all operators having access to med packs and defibrillators to revive teammates, Falk is rendered completely useless as well inside this game. I know you can revive teammates a little bit faster or at range, and you can also revive them to full health, but it's not enough to choose that operator over some of the others. So the specialist system, in my opinion, doesn't really work all that well. I don't know if they'll change this completely, I highly doubt it, but like I said, I just don't think it works in this game. And last and but not least, I want to talk about Hazard Zone. Now, Hazard Zone has been a big issue, in my opinion, entirely. Now, the whole game mode itself, the idea behind it is okay, but there's no real end game to Hazard Zone. There's not a sense of accomplishment when you complete a game. You extract, the game is over, that's it. You don't really feel like you've won anything. For example, if you play a game of Warzone or a simple Battle Royale game, you feel like you're on top of the world after you've completed that game. And that's the kind of feeling Hazard Zone was supposed to give you, but it just definitely doesn't. Also, during the game as well is a bit of an issue in my opinion. Even though you don't run into enemy players, you end up running into AI, and there's no sense of accomplishment from killing AI in a kind of competitive shooter like Battlefield. So again, there's no achievement whilst you're playing the game either. The overall pacing of Hazard Zone has to change, and whether that means making the map smaller, taking out the AI, adding more players, I have no idea, but they definitely need to change that game mode. And on top of that, they should have added a free-to-play element when it comes to Battlefield 2042, in my opinion. After seeing the success of games like Warzone, Apex Legends, Fortnite do extremely well with free-to-play games, I feel like Battlefield really missed a trick by making Hazard Zone free-to-play. Now, granted, in its current state, I don't think people would play it even if it was free, but like I said, I do feel like if they do manage to sort out that game mode, some part of this game does need to be free to play, whether it's Hazard Zone or even Portal, in my opinion. That could be a good idea too. And that would bring some new players into play this game. Now, I do feel like I've kind of talked a lot of bad things about this game right now, and there is a lot of core things that are very good about Battlefield 2042. The gameplay, the movement, a lot of the stuff is amazing, and the graphics are also fantastic as well. Now, if you do love Conquest and you just want to play that by any means necessary, and Breakthrough, in my opinion, is the best game mode that's in Battlefield 2042 right now. It's a good blend between a large-scale map, a fast-paced game mode, and you get to use all the new equipment and see the best graphics when it comes to Battlefield. Then that is the game mode you should be playing right now. But like I said, with all those things mentioned previously, I kind of find this game hard to recommend at the moment. But let me know what you think about Battlefield 2042 down in the comments below. Have you played it? Are you enjoying it? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for watching.